Can I ask you something personal? Have you ever found yourself in the middle of the afternoon, sitting in your favorite chair, staring at a magazine or the TV, and suddenly realizing you can't even remember what you were just reading or watching? Maybe you reached for another cup of coffee, hoping it would shake off the fog. That little slip, that moment of brain fatigue, might feel harmless. But as a neurologist with over 30 years of experience, I can tell you, our brains whisper before they shout. And those whispers, the forgetfulness, the dips in focus, the afternoon fog, are early signals that our brains need protection. Here's the truth. Your brain doesn't just age overnight. It changes slowly, influenced by the choices you make every single day. What you eat, how you rest, even the snacks you reach for, they all shape how sharp your memory stays, how steady your emotions remain, and how long you can live independently. So today, I want to share with you a surprisingly simple solution. It's not a pill. It's not another cup of coffee. It's a snack one you can prepare in minutes that leading brain experts and dietitians recommend to protect memory and strengthen focus. If you've ever felt that afternoon fog, type 1 inch, the comments. If not, type 0. I want to know if this message resonates with you. And if this touches your heart, please subscribe and ring the bell. That way, we can continue walking this journey of brain health together. Why snacks can save your brain. Let me tell you something I've seen again and again in my clinic over the past 30 years. Many older Americans spend a lot of time planning their three main meals: breakfast, lunch, dinner, often balanced, sometimes even carefully measured. But snacks? They get ignored. Some people skip them entirely. Others reach for cookies, chips, or a quick soda. And yet, it's often the small snack that carries the power to change your brain health in ways you don't expect. Why? Because your brain doesn't run on a 3 meals a day schedule. It works 24 hours, 7 days a week. It needs steady energy, steady blood flow, and steady nourishment. When you hit that afternoon slump, the moment when your eyelids feel heavy, your thoughts get slower, and your memory feels cloudy, your brain is literally asking for help. Here's where the problem lies. Most people respond to that slump with coffee, sugar, or energy drinks. And while they may give you a quick jolt, they don't feed your brain. In fact, they often drain it. That burst of caffeine or sugar may spike your energy for 1 hour, but soon after, your blood sugar crashes. And with that crash comes more fatigue, irritability, and even confusion. Now, imagine a different approach. Instead of coffee or processed snacks, you reach for something packed with omega-3 seconds, antioxidants, and fiber. Suddenly, you're not just surviving the afternoon slump. You're protecting your neurons, calming inflammation, and giving your brain the building blocks it needs to keep memory sharp. I want you to picture this. A patient of mine, let's call him David, age 68. He came to see me because he was forgetting names and often felt tired in the afternoons. For years, his routine was simple toast and coffee for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, then another cup of coffee at 3 in the afternoon. No snacks, no real nutrition between meals. His brain was running on empty. When we shifted his habit to include a small afternoon snack, walnuts and blueberries, sometimes a homemade oat ball, within weeks, his energy stabilized. His focus lasted longer. His wife even told me, "Doctor, he remembers things again. He doesn't ask me the same question 3 times anymore." That is the quiet power of the right snack. Snacks matter not because they fill your stomach, but because they fill the gaps in your nutrition. A well-chosen snack provides what your breakfast or dinner may have missed: omega-3 seconds for your neurons, antioxidants for your brain cells, and fiber for your gut-brain connection. And here's the truth most people don't realize. Independence in old age depends more on brain health than on anything else. You can have strong legs and a healthy heart, But if your memory slips, if your focus fades, daily life becomes a struggle. Something as simple as a snack can help protect that independence. So let me ask you, the next time you feel that fog in the afternoon, will you reach for coffee, or will you give your brain the snack it truly deserves? Share your answer in the comments. Coffee or snack? I'd love to see what choice you're making today. The science of brain nutrition, from neurons to daily energy. Let's slow down for a moment and talk about the science of your brain, but in a way that makes sense for everyday life. Your brain is only about 3 pounds in weight, yet it uses almost 20% of the body's energy every single day. That means 1/5 of every bite you eat is really going to fuel your memory, your attention, your emotions, and even your ability to find your way home. Now, here's the problem. As we get older, the brain becomes less efficient. The pathways that carry signals, those delicate wires we call neurons, start to slow down. Inflammation builds up. The body doesn't clear waste as easily. And the result? Memory slips, slower reaction time, even changes in mood. But here's the good news. Nutrition is one of the strongest tools we have to fight back. Let me break it down into 3 simple heroes your brain depends on: omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and fiber. Omega-3 fatty acids are like the insulation on electrical wires. Without them, signals can't travel smoothly. When neurons lose that protective layer, they struggle to talk to each other. That's when you might forget a name or lose track of a conversation. Walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds, and especially fatty fish like salmon and trout, these are rich in omega-3 seconds. In fact, research from the Harvard School of Public Health shows that people who regularly eat omega-3 rich foods have a lower risk of dementia and better memory performance well into their 70s. Antioxidants are your cleanup crew. Imagine your brain as a busy kitchen. Every time neurons work, they create a little bit of smoke, what we call oxidative stress. If that smoke isn't cleared, it damages the walls of your brain cells. That's why blueberries, strawberries, spinach, and colorful vegetables are so powerful. They send in antioxidants, like little firefighters, to clear the smoke and keep the kitchen safe. The National Institute on Aging published findings showing that diets high in flavonoids, the antioxidants in berries, are linked to slower cognitive decline. Fiber is the silent bridge between your gut and your brain. Most people don't think of fiber when they think of memory, but here's the secret. The gut is home to trillions of bacteria that send signals up to the brain. If you feed them well with oats, beans, apples, and leafy greens, they release chemicals that boost mood, sharpen focus, and reduce inflammation. Scientists call this the gut-brain axis, and studies from Tufts University show that older adults with higher fiber intake not only have healthier digestion, but also perform better on memory and attention tests. Let me share a small story. A patient of mine, Mary, age 72, used to complain that every evening she felt foggy and couldn't follow conversations with her grandchildren. When we adjusted her diet, adding walnuts at breakfast, blueberries in the afternoon, and oats instead of white bread, she came back 3 months later with a smile. She said, "Doctor, I can finally keep up with my grandkids' jokes. I don't feel left behind anymore." That's the power of nourishing neurons. Now, I want you to pause and think. Have you noticed your brain feeling more tired than your body? Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you were there? That's your brain's way of saying, "Feed me better fuel." Tell me in the comments, what is one food you eat every day that you believe is helping your brain? Remember, every bite you take is either feeding your memory or draining it, and the choice is always in your hands. Walnuts and omega-3 seconds, the forgotten supernut. If I could give you one food that acts almost like medicine for your brain, I would put walnuts right at the top of the list. Walnuts have been with us for thousands of years. Yet many people I meet, even my patients, avoid them because they're afraid of the calories or the fat. But let me tell you clearly, the fats in walnuts are not the enemy. They are the fuel. They are the building blocks your brain cells have been waiting for. Your brain is made of nearly 60% fat. That surprises many people. Every thought, every memory, every smile you share all depend on healthy fat in the brain's cell membranes. Without it, neurons lose their flexibility. They can't talk to each other as smoothly. That's where omega-3 fatty acids come in. Walnuts are one of the richest plant sources of alpha-linolenic acid, a type of omega-3. This fatty acid reduces inflammation, strengthens the structure of neurons, and improves the way brain cells use glucose. Why does that matter? Because the brain runs on glucose the way a car runs on gasoline. If the fuel system is broken, the engine sputters. Walnuts help keep that engine clean. A large study published in the Journal of Nutrition, Health, and Aging followed over 3,000 older Americans. Those who ate walnuts regularly performed better on memory and attention tests. Another study from UCLA found that even a small handful of walnuts, about 1/4 cup a day, was linked to better cognitive function across all age groups. That's not just theory, that's evidence. Let me share a patient story. John, a 70-year-old retired firefighter, came to see me complaining of frequent forgetfulness. He had already given up driving because he no longer trusted his reaction time at intersections. He told me, "Doc, I feel like my brain is slower than my body." We worked on several lifestyle changes, but one of the simplest and most powerful was adding a daily serving of walnuts. 6 months later, John came back smiling. He was still cautious about driving, but he said, "My memory feels sharper, I don't lose my train of thought as often, and I've got more energy in the afternoons." That's the beauty of this simple nut. It's not flashy. It doesn't promise miracles overnight. But it quietly works on the deep level, where brain health is preserved in the membranes of your neurons, in the flexibility of your synapses, in the balance of your blood flow. Now, I want to address a common mistake. Some people think if one handful is good, then 3 or 4 must be better. That's not how it works. Walnuts are powerful, but balance matters. About 1 ounce, a small handful, is enough to provide the omega-3 seconds your brain needs for the day. More than that, and you may overload on calories without extra benefit. Think of walnuts as your brain's daily insurance policy. Every time you crack one open or sprinkle a few on oatmeal, you're sending a signal to your neurons. Stay strong, stay connected, don't give up on me yet. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever underestimated a simple food, only to discover later that it carried far more power than you realized? Share your thoughts in the comments. And tomorrow morning, when you're reaching for breakfast, consider adding just a few walnuts. Your brain may thank you for years to come. Blueberries, tiny berries, big protection. Sometimes, the most powerful medicine for your brain doesn't come in a pill bottle. Sometimes, it comes in something as small and ordinary as a blueberry. Blueberries may look simple, just tiny, round, sweet fruits, but inside, they hold some of the most powerful brain protective compounds we know. Scientists call them flavonoids and anthocyanins. Don't worry about the fancy words. All you need to remember is this. These are the natural pigments that give blueberries their deep blue color, and they are also the reason blueberries can slow down brain aging. Think of your brain like a busy city. Every second, traffic flows through millions of roads, your neurons. With age, that traffic starts to clog. Pollution builds up. Signals slow down. What antioxidants in blueberries do is sweep the streets, clear the pollution, and keep traffic moving. They fight something called oxidative stress, the same process that makes metal rust or fruit turn brown. In the brain, oxidative stress damages neurons. Blueberries fight back. The National Institute on Aging has highlighted multiple studies showing that people who eat blueberries regularly perform better on memory and learning tasks. In fact, researchers at Harvard found that older women who ate 2 or more servings of blueberries per week delayed cognitive aging by as much as 2.5 years. Imagine that just by eating berries, you could give your brain extra time. Let me share a patient's story. Eleanor, age 75, used to tell me she felt invisible during family dinners because she couldn't follow the conversation. Her children would laugh at a joke, and she'd be a beat too late. We added blueberries to her daily routine, not as medicine, just a cup in the morning with her oatmeal, and sometimes a handful in the afternoon. After several months, Eleanor reported something remarkable. She said, "Doctor, I finally feel like I'm in the room again. I laugh at the same time as everyone else." That small change gave her back her confidence. Here's another secret. Not all blueberries are the same. Wild blueberries, which are smaller and darker, have almost twice the antioxidant power compared to regular ones you find at the store. If you can find frozen wild blueberries, often grown in Maine, they're just as powerful as fresh. Add them to yogurt, smoothies, or even salads. Now, a word of caution. Some people reach for blueberry muffins or sugary jams and think they're doing something good for their brain. Unfortunately, the added sugar cancels out many of the benefits. The real brain boost comes from fresh, frozen, or dried blueberries without added sugar. Nature's version, not the bakery's. I want you to pause and think. If something as small as a blueberry can help preserve memory, what would it mean to you? Would it mean remembering your grandchild's birthday? Would it mean keeping your independence a little longer? Tell me in the comments, do you eat blueberries every week? If not, what's stopping you? Remember, brain protection doesn't always come from big, complicated solutions. Sometimes, it's as simple as adding a handful of berries to your plate. Tiny fruits. Big protection. The gut-brain connection. Why fiber feeds your mind. When most people think about brain health, they picture crossword puzzles, memory games, or maybe even fish oil pills. Very few people think about their gut. But here's the truth. Your brain and your gut are in constant conversation, 24 hours a day. And what you feed your gut directly affects how your brain thinks, remembers, and even how it feels. Doctors and scientists call this the gut-brain axis. It's like a private phone line that runs between your digestive system and your brain. Every bite of food you eat sends messages across that line. If you eat foods rich in fiber, oats, beans, apples, leafy greens, you're sending positive signals. Stay calm, stay sharp, stay balanced. If you eat too much processed sugar or fried foods, the signals get scrambled. Inflammation rising, energy unstable, mood dropping. Here's why fiber is so powerful. Inside your gut live trillions of tiny organisms, good bacteria, that we call the microbiome. Think of them as gardeners. If you feed them fiber, they thrive, and in return, they grow chemicals that travel up to your brain. These chemicals improve memory, regulate mood, and even protect against stress. If you starve them by skipping fiber, the weeds take over. Harmful bacteria grow, inflammation rises, and the brain suffers. Let me share a story. Margaret, age 69, came to see me not because of memory loss, but because of constant stomach troubles. She felt bloated, irregular, and tired all the time. She thought it was just digestion. But when we looked closer, her poor gut health was also affecting her focus and sleep. We worked together to increase her fiber, adding oatmeal at breakfast, lentil soup at lunch, and an apple in the afternoon. Within 3 months, not only did her digestion improve, But her husband noticed something remarkable. She remembers things again. She's laughing more. That's the gut-brain connection at work. Now, here's another reason fiber matters. Heart health is brain health. Fiber lowers cholesterol, improves blood flow, and protects blood vessels from oxidative damage. And remember, your brain depends on steady blood flow to deliver oxygen and nutrients. Without it, neurons weaken. A simple bowl of oats or a side of leafy greens is like sending fresh water through your brain's pipes. The American Heart Association reports that people who eat more fiber-rich whole grains lower their risk of heart disease by about 20%. And since heart disease and dementia often go hand in hand, that same fiber may also be protecting your memory. Here's where I see many older adults make a mistake. They focus on protein or vitamins, but they ignore fiber. Or they think fiber just means bran cereal. In reality, fiber is everywhere in beans, in vegetables, in whole grains, in fruit, and the more variety you give your gut, the more diverse and resilient your microbiome becomes. I want you to think about this. Have you noticed that when your digestion is off, your mood is worse? That's not just your imagination. That's the gut-brain axis in action. Share in the comments. What's one fiber-rich food you enjoy or could add to your daily meals? Remember, every bite of fiber is like planting a seed in your brain's garden. Nurture it, and it will give back clarity, focus, and peace of mind. Beyond snacks, other brain-saving foods. By now, we've talked about walnuts, blueberries, and the power of fiber. But I don't want you to think brain health is about one magic snack or one miracle berry. True brain protection comes from building a whole pattern of eating small choices, repeated daily, that slowly add up to sharper memory, calmer mood, and longer independence. So, let's step beyond snacks for a moment. What other foods can become your allies in protecting the brain? Dark leafy greens. Spinach, kale, collard greens, these aren't just salad fillers. They are packed with vitamins A, K, and antioxidants that protect your neurons from damage. A study published in Neurology found that older adults who ate just one serving of leafy greens each day had the brain function of people 11 years younger. Imagine that 11 extra years of memory, simply from a small daily salad. Fatty fish, salmon, trout, sardines, tuna. These are loaded with DHA, a type of omega-3 that keeps brain cell membranes flexible. Think of neurons as dancers. Without DHA, they become stiff and clumsy. With DHA, they move gracefully, passing signals with ease. In fact, the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition reported that seniors who ate fish twice a week had significantly lower risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. Complex carbohydrates. Carbohydrates often get a bad reputation, but not all carbs are created equal. Whole grains, beans, lentils, and vegetables provide steady energy for the brain. Because they digest slowly, they keep blood sugar stable, and stable blood sugar means stable memory. Refined carbs like white bread or pastries give a quick rush, then leave you more foggy than before. Complex carbs are like a slow-burning log in the fireplace. Refined carbs are like a crumpled piece of newspaper, fast to burn, fast to disappear. Magnesium-rich foods. Did you know that magnesium is one of the most important minerals for calming the brain? It helps neutralize inflammation and supports sleep, which is when the brain clears waste. Foods like beans, nuts, seeds, and yes, even a square of dark chocolate can give your brain this gentle shield. A study from the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease found that higher magnesium intake was linked to better brain volume in regions related to memory. Antioxidant-rich foods. Beyond blueberries, think of strawberries, blackberries, pomegranates, colorful peppers, turmeric, and even herbs like rosemary. Each of these provides unique antioxidants that protect neurons from oxidative stress. The more colors on your plate, the more variety of brain protection you're giving yourself. Now, let me tell you about Samuel, age 74. He came to see me not because of memory loss, but because he wanted to stay sharp for his grandchildren. He said, "Doctor, I don't want to be the grandfather who forgets their names." We created a simple meal plan: oatmeal with walnuts and blueberries for breakfast, lentil soup and salad for lunch, salmon with leafy greens for dinner, and dark chocolate for dessert. After 6 months, he told me, "I feel steady, my mind feels clear. And the best part? I don't feel like I'm dieting, I feel like I'm living." That's the lesson. Brain health isn't about restriction or punishment, it's about abundance. About choosing foods that love you back. Every time you fill your plate with color, with fiber, with healthy fats, you're telling your brain, "I want you to stay with me. I need you." Now, I'd like you to pause and reflect. If there was one new brain-friendly food you could add to your meals this week, what would it be? Share it in the comments and inspire someone else who's watching. Remember, no single food will save your brain. But together, these foods build a safety net, one that can catch you before memory loss becomes a fall you cannot reverse. Common mistakes older adults make. After 3 decades of caring for older patients, I've noticed something important. Many people don't lose their memory or independence simply because of age. Often, it's because of the small mistakes they repeat every day without realizing it. Mistakes in eating, in resting, and in how they respond to their body's early signals. Let's talk about some of the most common ones. Mistake Hashon, skipping snacks altogether. Many older adults think, if I skip snacks, I'll save calories. But here's the problem. Your brain runs on steady fuel. If you let your blood sugar dip too low between meals, you may feel dizzy, forgetful, or weak. Skipping snacks doesn't save your brain, it starves it. A small, balanced snack like walnuts and blueberries or apple slices with peanut butter gives your neurons the stability they need. Mistake hash 2, reaching for coffee or sugar as the first solution. The afternoon slump hits, and the instinct is to grab another cup of coffee or a candy bar. Yes, caffeine and sugar can wake you up for an hour, but the crash that follows makes focus and memory worse. I've seen patients stuck in a cycle: coffee, then sugar, then more fatigue. Breaking the cycle with a fiber-rich or protein-rich snack is like stepping off a roller coaster and finally walking on steady ground again. Mistake hash 3, fearing healthy fats. For decades, people were told fat is bad. So many seniors avoid nuts, avocado, or olive oil. But remember, your brain is 60% fat. Depriving it of healthy fats is like draining oil from a car engine. Sooner or later, the engine seizes. The fats in walnuts, salmon, flax seeds, and olive oil are not your enemy. They're your medicine. Mistake hash 4, believing memory loss is just normal aging. If you think, "I've heard this too many times. Doctor, of course I'm forgetting things. I'm old." Yes, some changes are natural with age. But frequent forgetfulness, mood swings, or difficulty focusing are not something you have to simply accept. These are signs your brain needs more care. Dismissing them delays action, and lost time is lost neurons. Mistake hash 5, choosing processed foods for convenience. It's easy to reach for packaged snacks, frozen dinners, or fast food when cooking feels tiring. But processed foods are often loaded with salt, sugar, and unhealthy fats that inflame the brain and weaken blood vessels. I always tell my patients, convenience today can cost you independence tomorrow. Even simple meals, oatmeal with fruit, a salad with beans, Grilled fish with vegetables give your brain far more power. Let me share a story. Robert, 71, came to me saying, "Doc, I'm just clumsy and forgetful now. That's life." But when we looked at his habits, he was skipping breakfast, surviving on coffee, eating fast food for lunch, and collapsing into bed after dinner. His brain wasn't failing him, his routine was. We adjusted his meals, added snacks, and reduced processed foods. Within months, he looked me in the eye and said, "I didn't realize how much I was harming myself. Now I feel like myself again." The lesson is clear. Age doesn't automatically equal decline. But repeating small mistakes can accelerate decline, and correcting those mistakes can give years of clarity back. So let me ask you, which of these mistakes sounds familiar to you? Skipping snacks? Too much coffee? Avoiding fats? Share your answer in the comments. And remember, awareness is the first step toward change. You deserve to live not just longer, but sharper, steadier, and more joyful. Correcting these small mistakes may be the key to unlocking that future. Building a brain-healthy routine. After 60, one of the most powerful lessons I've learned in 30 years as a neurologist is this. Protecting your brain isn't about big, dramatic changes. It's about the small routines you repeat every day. After 60, routines matter more than resolutions. Why? Because the brain thrives on rhythm. Just as your heart loves a steady beat, your brain loves steady patterns of fuel, rest, and stimulation. When those rhythms are broken, erratic meals, poor sleep, constant stress, neurons struggle. But when rhythms are steady, your brain thanks you with clearer memory, sharper focus, and calmer moods. So let's build a brain-healthy daily routine, step by step. Morning. Start with fuel, not emptiness. Too many older adults skip breakfast or rely on coffee alone. But remember, your brain has been fasting all night. It needs gentle fuel to start the day. A bowl of oatmeal topped with walnuts and blueberries, or a slice of whole grain toast with avocado, is like switching on the lights in your brain. Pair it with a glass of water. Hydration helps wake up your neurons. Midday. Balance your plate, protect your focus. Lunch doesn't need to be heavy. In fact, lighter meals with protein and fiber help you avoid the drowsy afternoon crash. Think lentil soup with leafy greens, or grilled salmon with a side of beans and vegetables. Remember, heart health is brain health, and every fiber you eat improves both. Afternoon. Choose a snack, not a slump. This is the danger zone, the time when brain fog sets in. Instead of coffee, choose a brain-smart snack. Apple slices with peanut butter, a handful of walnuts, or Greek yogurt with blueberries. Not only will your memory stay sharper, but your mood will also stay more stable. Evening. Rest your brain, don't overload it. Dinner should be satisfying but not heavy. Aim for complex carbs, vegetables, and a source of healthy fat. Think brown rice with stir-fried veggies and tofu, or roasted chicken with leafy greens. Then, turn off screens at least 1 hour before bed. Sleep is your brain's nightly housekeeping service, the time when it clears waste and resets memory. Without it, no diet in the world can protect your neurons. Daily extras. Movement, mindfulness, and meaning. Food is powerful, but it's not the whole story. A short daily walk, even 10 minutes, improves circulation to your brain. Gentle stretching or yoga keeps blood flowing and joints mobile. Mindfulness practices like deep breathing or prayer calm stress, which is one of the brain's worst enemies. And finally, don't underestimate the power of meaning. Call a friend, share a story, laugh with a grandchild. Social connection lights up the brain in ways no pill can. Let me tell you about Linda, age 66. She came to me overwhelmed. "Doctor, I feel like I'm failing my brain. I don't know where to start." We didn't give her a long list of rules. We built a routine: oatmeal with berries in the morning, a walk after lunch, a snack of nuts in the afternoon, and screens off before bed. 6 months later, she said, "I don't feel like I'm fighting my brain anymore. I feel like I'm working with it." That's the key. Build routines that feel like companions, not chores. Make your brain your partner. Now, I want to ask you, if you could change just one part of your daily routine to help your brain, what would it be? Share it in the comments morning, afternoon, or evening. Remember, after 60, every routine you choose is a message to your brain. I still care about you. I still need you. And your brain will respond with gratitude. We've traveled together through the science, the stories, and the simple choices that protect the brain. And if there's one truth I want you to carry with you, it's this: your brain is not powerless. Even after 60, every small choice you make, every snack, every walk, every glass of water, every laugh with a loved one is a gift to your memory, your independence, and your future. Your mornings matter, your afternoons matter, your health matters. Too many people believe memory loss is just fate. But I've seen patients regain focus, rebuild confidence, and rediscover joy simply by making steady, gentle changes. The walnuts, the blueberries, the oats, the greens, these aren't just foods. They're your brain's daily shield, your quiet insurance policy for tomorrow. Now, let me ask you, if you could protect just one memory, the face of a grandchild, the sound of your favorite song, the feeling of walking outside on a spring morning, wouldn't it be worth the effort? Share your answer in the comments. What memory do you most want to protect? And please, don't keep this knowledge to yourself. Send this video to a friend, a sibling, a neighbor who's also walking the road of aging. You never know whose life you might brighten. Finally, if this message touched you, subscribe and ring the bell so we can continue this journey together. Every week, I'll be here not just as a doctor, but as a companion to share the science, the stories, and the hope that your brain can stay strong. Remember, protect your brain before it needs saving, because your best years are still ahead.